In 672 AD, Byzantine chemists created a weapon so terrifying that it saved an empire. For 700 years, it burned on water. It melted through armor. It couldn't be extinguished. Then the formula vanished from history. Not stolen, not lost in war, deliberately erased. What you're about to discover will shatter everything you thought you knew about the so-called Dark Ages. These wasn't primitive people fumbling in the shadows. They were building technologies we still can't replicate.
Today, we live in an age of arrogance. We look at ancient civilizations and assume we're superior.
Simply because we have smartphones. But what if that's exactly what they want you to think? What if the greatest con
Is the lie that progress moves in a straight line, always forward, never backward.
The 10 technologies you're about to witness prove something far more disturbing. Human civilization has risen and
Fallen multiple times. Peak knowledge has been achieved, then catastrophically lost.
not through natural disasters, not through the passage of time, but through deliberate destruction.
Through the compartmentalization of secrets, through death. From chemical warfare that defies modern physics.
To computers built 2,000 years before Steve Jobs. From concrete that heals itself to steel that cannot be reproduced. These aren't myths, they're documented historical facts that demolish the timeline you learned in school.
The question is, what else did they know that we've forgotten? And more importantly, who decided we should forget it?
Let's start with a weapon so powerful it altered the course of Western civilization.
Imagine you're a sailor in the 7th century, watching an enemy ship approach through the darkness.
Then you see it, a stream of liquid fire shooting from the prow of a Byzantine warship like a dragon's breath.
It hits the water and keeps burning. Your ship, your crew, screaming, diving into the sea for relief.
But the fire follows them down. It burns underwater. It burns flesh. It burns everything. This was Greek fire, and for 700 years, it was the nuclear weapon of the medieval world. The Byzantine Empire was dying. Arab forces had conquered half the known world, and Constantinople was surrounded. Constantinople, the last bastion of Roman civilization, was surrounded. The empire needed a miracle.
In 672 AD, they got one. A chemical engineer named Lycurgus, fleeing from Syria, arrived with a formula.
The liquid that would burn on water, that could be pressurized and shot through bronze tubes.
It holds. Steady now.
The Byzantines mounted these siphons on their ships, and the next time the Arab fleet attacked, they were annihilated.
Entire empire armadas turned into floating pyres. The weapon was so effective, it broke the siege.
Constantinople survived. The empire lived for another 8 centuries, all because of a chemical formula, locked in the heads of a few trusted engineers. Here's where it gets disturbing. The recipe was classified at the highest level of Byzantine state security. Only the emperor and a handful of chemists knew it. It was passed down through families, compartmentalized, guarded like nuclear codes. And when the empire finally fell in 1453, the secret died with it.
Every manuscript destroyed, every engineer dead or scattered, the formula gone.
Modern scientists have tried to recreate it for decades. We know it contained petroleum distillates, probably naphtha.
We suspect it included quicklime, which reacts violently with water, creating the spontaneous ignition.
But here's the mystery. We can't replicate the specific properties described in historical accounts.
Our versions burn, sure, but they don't stick to surfaces like medieval napalm. They don't match the terror.
Think about that. 7th century chemists
working without modern labs, without molecular theory,
Created a substance we can't fully reproduce today. A weapon so advanced, it feels like science fiction.
and the only reason we know it existed is because it saved Western civilization from extinction.
But Greek fire isn't the only technology that proves ancient engineers were operating on a level we don't understand.
In 1901, Greek sponge divers discovered a Roman shipwreck off the coast of Antikythera.
Among the pottery and statues, they found something that shouldn't exist. A corroded lump of bronze. When archaeologists finally X-rayed it decades later, their hands were shaking. Inside that lump were at least 30 precision-cut bronze gears, meshing together, forming a machine.
This wasn't a simple mechanism. This was an analog computer built 2,000 years before Alan Turing.
Turn a crank on the side, and a complex system of differential gears would calculate the positions of the sun, moon, and planets.
It predicted eclipses years in advance. It tracked the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games.
It even corrected for the irregular orbit of the moon, a calculation that requires an understanding of elliptical astronomy.
The gear ratios are mathematically precise, and the differential gear system, the same technology that makes your car's wheels
Turn at different speeds in a corner, doesn't appear in human technology until the 14th century, 1,300 years later. Here's the part that keeps scientists awake at night. This device is not a prototype. It's too sophisticated, too refined. Which means there were earlier versions, a whole tradition of Greek mechanical engineering that we've never found, lost, destroyed, forgotten. CT scans revealed inscriptions inside, an instruction manual etched into the bronze. It references cycles and calculations that match the work of Archimedes. Some believe he designed it. Others think it's the product of an entire school of Hellenistic engineers whose names are lost to time. Either way, the conclusion is unavoidable. Ancient Greece possessed mechanical knowledge that rivals Renaissance Italy. When Rome fell and Europe descended into the Dark Ages, we didn't just lose philosophy and art. We lost entire branches of technology.
Machines that compute the cosmos, engineering traditions that took centuries to develop. And the only reason we know
is because one ship sank in exactly the right place, preserving one single example for 2,000 years.
If this mechanism survived by accident, what didn't survive at all? But mechanical marvels aren't the only lost technology.
Some ancient craftsmen worked metal in ways that modern metallurgists still can't explain.
Hold a Damascus blade up to the light, and you'll see something mesmerizing. Perfect balance.
Wavy patterns rippling through the metal like water frozen in time. Lines that flow and swirl with an organic beauty.
These aren't decorative etchings. They're the molecular structure of the metal itself, and we don't know how they did it.
Damascus steel wasn't just beautiful, it was legendary. Swords forged from this material could slice through a falling silk scarf.
They could chop through European broadswords without chipping.
Stories that sounded like magic, but they weren't magic. They were metallurgy so advanced, it's taken us until the 21st century to understand it.
The steel came from India, traded to Damascus, where Master Smith forged it into weapons that became the world standard.
The secret was in the woots, crucible steel with specific trace elements, vanadium and chromium.
These nanowires made the blade incredibly hard, yet flexible.
The wavy pattern you see? That's the visual signature of carbon nanotubes. Nanotechnology in medieval swords.
Then, sometime in the 18th century, it stopped. The Smiths followed the same rituals, but the steel was different.
The patterns were wrong, the blades broke.
Modern analysis revealed the original Indian iron mines, the source of the specific impurities, had been exhausted.
The Smiths didn't lose the technology. They lost the ingredients. Without knowing the chemistry, they couldn't compensate. They kept following the recipe, but the recipe no longer worked. Peak knowledge has been achieved, then lost. Not through time, but through our own fragility and secrets.
If we believe progress only moves forward, we ignore the shadows where our greatest achievements have already died once before.
The question isn't what we will invent next. The question is, what have we already lost that we are too arrogant to look for?